in honor of the announcement of Shaqfu Returns or Shaqfu 2 or whatever it's called, we went and played the original bit. I know you played the original back in the day, so I wanted to get your rose-colored glasses impressions first of like when, I don't know when you last played it.
I think I didn't have the realization when I first played it that it was actually a bad game because I was so young. But no, Shaqfu was like, oh man, fighting games, this looks pretty cool. And Shaquille O'Neal was huge back then, so he was still playing for the Orlando Magic. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I have a game early. I'm gonna tell all my friends and stuff, and they like all came over. We all played it, and we had a good time with it. And it wasn't until maybe I got to college when I was this online discussing with people about terrible games, and Shaqfu just kept coming up, and then in articles, and I went back and I tried to like, yeah, after playing games like Street Fighter, even like Mortal Kombat, this game is really not that good.
But it was kind of the thing. Yeah, I kind of had a similar experience. Like we had rented it back in the day, and you know, I played it a few times. You know, and people talked about terrible game or whatever, and like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is not. It was not a great idea. It was like really like Shaq going to another dimension and like fighting these weird creatures and characters and things like that. But it wasn't until like me and Justin went back and played yesterday. It's like, no, this game is bad. This is like,
right. I think even among like SNES, B-level fighting games, like Clay Fighter is way better than Shaq-Fu. Clay Fighter is like tournament killer game. I think Primal Rage is better. I think you would have a hard time naming one that is worse. Tournament Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters is like way
I always wanted to play that.
It's kind of a real fighting game.
Yeah.
Am Street Fighter 2. These are all games. They're like, we should do one of those.
Let's get Shaq involved. Hitboxes were all over the place. It's like, how am I supposed to hit you? Like Shaq's got to be like the worst fighter in the game. It's like you try to do this. He's got like this flaming roundhouse kick thing, and I'm like, how am I supposed to hit somebody with this?
Yeah, like the ranges for everything. Like any like people who were trying to do anything with footsies and stuff. Like everything had like a preset move. There was like no variable of movement. Even like the jump.
Right.
Like the jump just kind of had like a preset like arc, and you were like kind of like screwed with that. And it was like a really high arc. There was like no, it like covered like half the screen or something. It looked really ridiculous. To its credit though, like when I first played it, like the story was really ridiculous. Like Shaq just going into like an old man's like dojo and like, hey, no time to explain. Just go through this door to this other dimension.
He's in Japan for the All-Star Games.
Yeah, so the All-Star Games always held in Tokyo, by the way. It's simple now, but back then, like a fighting game where you're like walking to your locations and you could like maybe there's like a hidden location or there's nothing like that other than just you went to fight. And yeah, the rogues like gallery of villains in that game, like that you fought like the Catwoman at first, and then
there's the Prince of Persia clone.
The Prince of Persia clone who has like the Chun-Li kick somehow. And then the main villain was Set Ra, like a mummy meets Shao Kahn type thing.
Yeah, but there was like two mummy characters, or at least the other guy was kind of mummy-like, right?
Well, Memphis is like a green dude. He has like a hoodie and like
the poor man's Dr. Doom.
Yeah, wrapped up shoes. Yeah. He's actually pretty decent. Memphis is my favorite character.
He looked pretty OP.
I think Set in particular totally plays like a boss character. But yeah, I mean, they had ideas, if nothing else, but
oh, they had that voodoo doll girl who like just pulls out the voodoo doll and stabs him?
Right, ideas is about all they had. Yeah. But I wonder if the new game, I think, if it's not ridiculous and bad, then what other angle can you take using the Shaq-Fu name? Like what else does that?
Well, it's funny, he's like this grotesque neck.
Yes. He looks horrible.
It's like I hope you can headbutt really well because I don't know what else you're supposed to do with those muscles.
It looked like a Nicktoons or Cartoon Network, like the rebirth of Ninja Turtles, like that 3D animation. It looked like that, and I'm not really a fan of that look. But obviously, it's like a concept trailer, whatever it is, a pitch trailer. But the message at the end, like we promise, we won't. What this is like, we promise we won't screw it up.
No, we won't foo it up.
We won't foo it up. Yeah. I don't know. I think they need to go for that. They need to go for the ridiculousness.
But the characters seem kind of generic, right?
The ninja, the foes.
Yeah, there's like normal foot soldiers. Like no, like you gotta go back to like the weird crap, like the Beast and all of that. Like you gotta go all out with the character designs and just make it as weird as you can.
I guess I just wonder like what's the point of trying to like bring this back? Like did they look at something like Barkley, like Shut Up and Jam and Barkley and the guiding like RPG games and like, hey, Charles Barkley's name's being thrown into this like.
Well, has Shaq been stewing for the past 20 years and was like, man. It's like they messed my game up. I gotta make it right.
He wanted to be a movie star. He wanted to be a rapper, and he wanted to like make video games.
Right, what does Shaqfu mean? I don't think it means anything good. It's a different kind of game, though. It's like a more, I guess, God of War or Devil May Cry type game with like, a ton of moves and combos and whatever. It's like, the bullet points.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's anything aside from like melee combat and the name that crosses over whatsoever.
I want comedy from this game if they're gonna do it. I think they have to go for comedy. I'm worried they gotta do half-ass it.
Yeah, but I'm just worried that like.
I think they're gonna go too serious. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't want them to go too serious. But
it's inherently comedic, a basketball player, like a roided up basketball player.
Yeah, they said like what other than him lending his likeness, and I think that's his voice. Like, is Shaq could have any other like involvement? Did the Kickstarter the Indiegogo say anything about that?
I think they said more than that.
I mean, I think they mentioned he personally invested in the project. I'm not sure why they need more money.
Couldn't he like just
open up the wallet a little bit, right? They're only.
I think he is. I think this is like on top of his contribution.
Oh, he's just trying to.
So it's like getting the community involved and all that kind of thing. But that's weird.
This time we won't fool it up.